Flying 30,000 feet, that could be a daunting experience for some people out there, but for one Aussie traveller, her nightmare began before she even left the ground.
Journalist Holly Richards had purchased an extra seat on a Jetstar flight, something she had done many times before, but rather than accommodating her, she says she was humiliated and brought to tears. And Holly joins us live from Geelong.
Hey, Holly.
Good morning, Holly. First of all, sorry that you've been through this. Just take us through what happened.
Yeah, thank you for that. Look, it was a real nightmare and it's a long story, so I'll keep it brief. But basically, I was told one thing, but then a million other things. So I turned up to the airport. I was told to check in. I did. I then went to the gate. Some people came over to weigh my bags, and a fight sort of ensued with them trying to tell me that I was over my hand luggage allowance. I then very reluctantly told them, actually, I've purchased an extra seat, so I have more of luggage allowance, and they did not agree. And they basically said, no, you're going to have to pay for it. So they brought a manager over. They were very rude, and the manager said, you're going to have to pay for this. You're going to have to pay your hand luggage. And then I said, I'm so sorry. I'm so embarrassed to say this, but I actually have an extra seat. And he said, oh, I'm so sorry. In that case, you're fine. So then I got up to board, and he pulled me over again while I was in line and reprimanded me for purchasing an extra seat, saying I could use the system because I'd checked in online and not in person at the airport, when in fact I had. So it was just like one ordeal after the other. This
is a horrific story, and I'm so sorry as well that this has happened to you. You know, and you have done this before though, right? Am I right saying that you have actually bought seats before for yourself, so you're not causing a fuss, so you're not having any drama like this? Yeah, I have done it a couple of times before, and as I'm sure you can imagine, as a plus-size person, a larger person in the world, it's so embarrassing to even talk about this stuff. Mm-hmm. And so, like, the last thing, you just want to do the right thing. You just want to blend into the background and make sure that you've done all the right things, checked all the boxes, and you're not getting in anyone's way.
Yeah, you want to avoid situations like this, and you tried your best to do that. But Jetstar has responded to the incident after we contacted them. Are you satisfied with their response?
Look, we'll see is the answer. I have asked to them two things. One, to pass on that kindness is free. You may be a low-budget airline, but kindness costs nothing. Mm-hmm. And also to ask to be involved in policy change for plus-size passengers. So I think the proof will be in the pudding if they come back to me and involve me in those changes of policy.
Holly, you know, there'll be a lot of people out there who are in your position that also can't afford an extra seat. That, you know, that don't want this embarrassment on flights. That don't want people to, you know, to shame them because they're trying to get somewhere and just live in society like, you know, apparently everyone else is allowed to live in. So what do you think needs to change from here on in, not just for Jetstar, but for all airlines moving forward?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you for asking it. I think one thing to note is that the width of aeroplane seats has actually decreased 3 inches since the 1980s. And yet, as we all know, people are getting larger. So it's clearly like a bottom line thing for these airlines. So they're choosing profit over people. And then obviously it's about policy. There's an airline in the US called Southwest Airlines, and you can purchase a seat and then it's refunded to you when you turn up to the airport. Which seems like a much better system, because then if you can't afford it, then you will get the money back.
Is there something else that can happen too? I know that, like, you know, certainly in other workplaces or in, you know, I've got a theatre background, it's certainly happening a lot in theatre, where people are going to, you know, performers or people who are working on these sort of front line where they're speaking to people all the time and talking to them about body diversity, how you can react to that, how you can handle those situations. Shouldn't these airlines, which are running huge profits, have that baked in, and so we don't even need to have these conversations?
Yeah, you'd think so, but unfortunately not. It feels like the body diversity, the size diversity issue is really starting to come to the forefront now. You know, we've been through Trans Lives Matter, we've been through Black Lives Matter, and those issues are still really important, but different body sizes feels like the last bastion of social change. It's still really acceptable to, you know, degrade someone for their body type. So I think we're still learning in this area, unfortunately.
Well, it's a no-brainer for us, Holly. Thank you so much for coming on this morning and telling us your story. Let's hope Jetstar is listening as well.
Thanks, Holly.
Thank you.
Hey there, Today fans. Sarah and What's my name again?
Oh my goodness. Carl?
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel, though. Subscribe now for more news, special reports, and amazing Aussie stories.
And Carl misbehaving,
Whoa,
of course.
that never happens.
Always happens.
What's she talking about?
Always happens.